Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Widgets and Wonders. This is my show about great products from small companies. Now today we're going to take a look at some 3D printed terrain from RM Terrain Studios, actually from right around here in Ontario in Canada. These are STLs for your 3D printing needs, basically to bring some ruins to the tabletop and have sort of like a fantasy style Dark Souls, Skyrim, Mordheim, Frostgrave tabletop experience. So I'm going to show you these right now. These were provided to me already printed. I'm not a 3D printer guy, so don't ask me the details of like what size they were printed and that stuff. You can all ask those questions directly to Mark. He'll answer them in the comments, and he'll also be available through the messaging thing on his little crowdfund he's doing right now to put them into production. So I'll show you the stuff I've painted up. I'll also give you the recipe I painted in. That's one thing I can do, is I give you the sort of like the painting steps I did to get the result I got. Yeah, and we'll show you it right now. So here's the terrain from RM Studios, both painted and unpainted. I left some stuff unpainted too in filament, so you can see the sort of the way it looks when it's not done. He printed them all in black filament, and then I painted them up using 4 different paints, 2 different brushes, and about a day. The only things I'm not going to talk about is how to do the colors for the tiles, because your mileage may vary there, but the general painting and stuff I'll show you right now. So, there's all kinds of different kits available, everything from knockdown ruins to ruiny ruins to shattered bridges, individual ruin bits, and then things like these little forts and some scatter terrain. It's all available, I think, a la carte or as bundles. I'm pretty sure he's doing both. And he did sell some licenses too for some folks to, I think, sell on prints themselves. So like he's got agreements where people can actually buy, they can print and then sell the finished terrain. So for those of you that are like me and aren't 3D printers, this stuff will be available in the near future from a group of people who all bought licenses to actually like sell the finished prints of these designs. So yeah, you can see here there's I guess several large kits. I really like this knockdown tower. I painted these out for Frostgrave. This one over here comes in several pieces if you want to print several pieces. And then you've got stuff like this little house here that's roundabout. Yeah, he printed them in a relatively quick print, like I think size. So you can see some striations and stuff when they get printed, but those filled in really well when I actually went and primed them. So I primed them with Go Painter's Touch, some espresso, it's like a chocolate brown. And then if you don't have one of these and you paint terrain, get one. It's a scenery brush from GW. It's nice and robust. I've had this one for probably 5 years. I got it when I first started the studio, and it's still going strong. And then the whole thing was given some craft paint dry brush. I'll actually hold a piece up so you can see. With this craft paint, what is it, medium gray. And then a lighter dry brush with some Dove Gray, both from Folk Art. I think these are available either from Hobby Lobby, Walmart, anywhere that does like basic craft stuff. And then I went and did some mossy green using Lauren Forest from Citadel. Thin down with some water and then just paint that kind of randomly in recesses and make some drips and stuff. And that gives it that nice old kind of overgrown mossy look. And that's it. The only thing I did differently was I used a beige for the second layer of dry brushing on all the fallen down rocks, and that gives you that kind of like dusty, crumbling dirt or like mountain face, which contrasts with the lighter gray for the cut stone. And that's it. That's literally all I did. The tiles were painted before doing the dry brushing, so I could dry brush over top of them, wet them a little bit. And this is literally just, I do the first gray, I thin down some green, I thin down some blue and put them over top, and I thin down some beige and put it over top, and then give it a dry brush just to sort of like, I guess, sort of mat it all in, like give it the same sort of finish as everything else. And lots of neat details. There's things like cut stone. You can see there's like that cool thing on the floor in there. You got little doors down here as well underneath the bridges, and these things all stack up relatively well to make individual buildings. So like if you want to put the corner pieces together and then have like the arches in the middle, you can get some nice sort of like almost Osgiliath ruins. It's kind of almost Lord of the Ringsy. I think that's the intent, is he took some design nods from like a whole bunch of different inspirational sources, and you've got like the ability basically to make a fantasy tabletop that would fit almost any of those settings. So like I said, perfect for Frostgrave, Mordheim, you want to do Skyrim, you want to do any of these like sort of high fantasy ruins. Basically how you base them and the kind of mat you put them on. This is wasteland mat from GameMat.eu will sort of like set the tone for how they look. So this looks just as great on like a green grassy mat with like overgrown trees and stuff as it does here in my high mountain wilderness. So I'll finish this stuff up too. There is some scatter terrain, which I really like. I haven't painted these yet, with like bases for statues and stuff. You can see here's one of those statues actually attached to give you some sort of like pre-finished stuff, but I really like the corner pieces because you can put them anywhere. And like I said, it's all a la carte, so it's like with most 3D printing stuff, you can get as much of or as little as you want and then print what you like, and the table's ready to go. So there it is. This is featured in my most recent Frostgrave campaign, the Blade of Burial, the little mini campaign we're doing with the Return of Red and Hrothgar. So if you want to see it in games, check out the Frostgrave playlist, and I'll link all of the relevant info for the crowdfund below. So there it is, some new, I think it's called Stormguard, some new 3D printing ruins from RM Terrain Studios. So you have another great product from a small company. Now, if you know of a product that you think deserves more attention, you can have them email me at guerrillaminiaturegames@gmail.com or Facebook message me at facebook.com/outofthebasement into the streets, and I'll put it in front of as many people as possible. We'll see you next time for more Widgets and Wonders. Till then, I'm Ash. Happy working. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.